So what have I been reading this week? A fair amount. I've also been watching some good films as well. I did watch The Return, which was brilliant. Sort of related to this, The Odyssey by Homer. Obviously, this book is quite old, but obviously this is a recent translation by Emily Wilson. And of course, there's the film coming out, which I am really looking forward to. I did enjoy The Return. Hopefully, the new one will be just as good, hopefully. This book is superb though. Brilliant translation all the way through, and also got a great introduction. I loved reading that as well. So this one I definitely recommend picking up. You should be able to pick up copies reasonably cheaply. Now, another one that I'm nearly as old, in fact, I'm certain it's nearly as old as the Odyssey. It's the X-Men. This one is an essential one. Now, which volume is this one? This is volume 6. Volume 6, and it's filled with some great stories. And you can see, as always with these ones, they always give the details there. You can see the 199 and 213, and you can see it's in black and white, of course. Black and white, but there's still absolutely great stories. Now, I'm reading a lot of Marvel ones on the Marvel Unlimited. In fact, each and every week, whenever they put a new selection of stories up there or comics up there, I always just try and go through each and every one of them. There's some that I particularly love. The Immortal Thor, I'm thoroughly enjoying. Also many like the Hulk ones as well. Also, recently there was a brilliant one with the Alien and Captain America, as well as Hydra and Nick Fury, etc. I thought it was just brilliant. I love this. But this one, getting back to the X-Men, really worth picking up. Just love these old essentials. Now, I don't know how many other volumes they actually released of this. This might have been the last one. I don't know if it went up to volume 7 or 8. But this one I picked up at Oxfam, and I've been thoroughly enjoying reading the stories. You've got like the Marauders, X Factor, the Morlocks, Thor. Actually, the Thor one was very good. Also got Freedom Force, Lady Deathstrike, and many others. So this one is definitely, in fact, I don't know pages. There's a lot of pages. In fact, it doesn't actually say the page number, but still really worth checking out. Now, I love his films. Wes Anderson's films. I just love the colours of Wes Anderson films as well. And I thought, you know what? I must pick up this book. I saw it in the bookshop, picked it up, was reading it in the bookshop, and I thought, yeah, I will get this. I ordered it, of course, online. I should have bought it at the time at the bookshop, but I didn't. But I thought, yes, I will get this one. Colour in film. It's just a really great read, and quite a few of these films, I thought, you know what? I must rewatch that one. Though I've never actually seen Bottle Rocket. I'm certain it's pretty good. Life Aquatic, the Shark Tale it says there, and of course Asteroid City and Grand Budapest Hotel, all those sort of ones. Just brilliant, brilliant films. And this book is really worth checking out. Quite cheap as well. It was, I think, about £12 or £13 for this one, and I'm really pleased I picked it up. The reason I picked it up, watched there's really good videos on YouTube showing around all different apartments, and this woman talking about all the various apartments she goes to, and she's talking about the Wes Anderson films and all the various things. I thought, you know what, I must go. Yes, so that was a book that I got there. I'm loving this one, the Odyssey series. I've been reading through 71, 70, 71, 72, and now the 73. I've got about halfway through this one. In fact, it's one of those ones where I actually do dip backwards and forwards between, so it's so many great moments mentioned here. I thought, oh, I remember that. I remember this, all these ways discussing various things about the cold pastry and savoury grease, as he talks about. Home, obviously Blighty there, British Rail, CAF, and all those sort of ones. God, I remember those. The icing on the cake and many, many other things. This is just a really enjoyable series. I think it's up to 75, maybe Odyssey 76 has just been announced, come out. I don't know, but this is by Simon Goddard, and I really, really been enjoying this series. Just nice to have a nice cup of coffee. Really enjoy. I'm just going to be off to work in a short while, so I thought I'd have a copy beforehand. Okay, on to the next one. This one, the Penguin Classics book, and this is great. Now, this book, I haven't read all of it, of course. I mean, it's massive, but what I did do this week, because of the Odyssey, I decided to just quickly dip into it and read all the various ones here, sort of related to the Odyssey, that are available via Penguin. So this is just a brilliant book, filled with loads of books that definitely are worth checking out. Aristophanes, of course, early Greek philosophy, Conversations of Socrates, and many, many more. Definitely, it's a brilliant reference book, this one. So this one was great, but this, the X-Men, yeah, more classics. And these are the only volumes I've got of the X-Men. No, actually saying that, I have got volume 2 as well, which is, of course, the Phoenix period, which I really love. Just brilliant stories. But this one, volume 5, great, filled with stories from, let's see, issue 180 to 198, and as well as an annual as well. And it's just black and white, of course, but still filled with some really, really good stories. I just absolutely love these ones. I didn't buy them at the time. That sounds terrible to say, but I didn't. I was reading the X-Men, the John Byrne, and then, slowly but surely, I sort of, I don't know, went over to some other comic books, and I sort of didn't read X-Men anymore. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to read these. And I've thoroughly enjoyed catching up with all the X-Men stories, ones that I'm just, like I say, not familiar with. So it is just a joy to read. And I've definitely, the artwork in this is superb. Brilliant, brilliant one. Barry Windsor Smith, of course, which I'm looking forward to. Of course, the new volume that's coming out, the Barry Windsor Smith book, volume 2, and obviously volume 3 at some point. Now, here's another one that's great that I thoroughly enjoyed reading, because I've been going through a few sort of history of comics, and this one, of course, is absolutely superb. The Secret History of Marvel Comics. Now, my copy, unfortunately, is quite badly damaged. Actually came like that. It was sort of badly there. So I've got that bit of tape there. But it's filled with just so much information about the pulps. Of course, that's where Marvel, the origin of Marvel, comes from these pulps. You've got here the complete Western books. You've also got, see these ones, the Miss America. You've got Patsy Walker, of course, who then went on to Hellcat. And you've got loads and loads of great photos as well, all the various people that were involved in Timely Comics, as well as, of course, the pulps that they were doing as well. Plus, lots and lots of great illustrations, many by artists, of course, that we all started to love later in the Timely period of comics, as well as into the glorious Marvel comics in the 1960s and 1970s. You've got Stan Lee there, of course, Bill Everett, Frank R. Paul, fairly familiar with him. And also you've got there John Severin and many, many. This is great. The history of DC Comics, all the early comics of DC, going through Slam Brady, Congo Bill, the Atom, and many other fairly obscure Golden Age characters. But that's what I like. I love those books. You don't want every single book to be about Batman. It's nice to actually have a few books about people like the good old the Crimson Avenger. He was a contender. He could have been the Superman. Saying that about Batman. Batman does feature, obviously, slightly in this. You've got Blue Bolt and a few others as well. And Batman is on the back as well as on the front as well. So Batman does appear a little bit. But it does mention quite a few of the brilliant, sort of more obscure ones that I hope get a DC Finest, or 2 or 3, maybe the Obscure series. That would be quite nice, an obscure genre one. Just got this today. This book is brilliant. Worth checking out. Cost me about £41. It's on Amazon. But if you love, like me, TV tie-ins, I say I love. I haven't got any. I was looking through my bookshelf thinking, I must have some TV tie-ins. I've read lots of these over the years. Not all of them. And they're just brilliant. TV tie-ins, Page and Screen. This is by John Mabey. If you want a book on TV tie-ins, this book I think is just brilliant. It's full of series that I recall. Things like here, Rumpole. Rumpole was great. Love those ones. Wish Me Luck, as well as To Serve Them All Days. All My Days, I should say. And also, of course, John Galsworthy. The Flambards, Knight Rider. So there's a whole load of them. You've got the Avengers, you've got here obviously the Invaders, and let's see whatever. Oh, the Avengers, of course. Now, some of these ones were a bit before my time because it covers the period 1965 to 1995, but it's all mainly British ones. But there's Kojak, Starsky and Hutch, and you can see on the front there, obviously Starsky and Hutch there, and of course A Touch of Frost. And on the back you've got Dixon of Dock Green. I don't think I've ever read that one. But Magnum, I remember that one. Grange Hill books, I remember all those. EastEnders, never read those. The Avengers, of course, there. And Champions, Time Slip. Time Slip, great series. Are You Being Served? I don't think I've read that. But The Prisoner, I remember getting that one, reading that one. Bergerac, I love those ones, and so on. This book, hardback, 234 pages, a real joy, absolutely brilliant. So, there's that. Marvel Comics in the 1970s, I love these ones. Tomorrow's, probably my favourite publishers. I'm always buying books on tomorrows.com. I've got a few downloads, digital downloads, which is a great thing about them. They always do digital downloads as well as the physical book. Obviously, in this case, I bought the physical book. I think they've just released some expanded or updated versions of some of these. So this one's, of course, including things like Captain America 111. You've got Captain America 126 there. You've got, obviously, some examples of the artwork there. Conan the Barbarian. And, of course, many, many others as well. Dangerous Visions by Hull Nelson. Brilliant, brilliant book. The Amazing Spider-Man 110. So I still starting to get into the period where I first started to collect comics. I love these ones. Of course, you've got here the Planet of the Apes, those wonderful black and white ones, just brilliant. Cull Destroyer. Also, of course, here the Master Plan of the Molten Man. Remember that one? And of course, Tomb Dracula and many others. So this book, just brilliant, thoroughly enjoyable to read this. I think, well, this is the expanded edition. Okay, there was also but I think they've done a 1960s one, expanded edition. I knew they'd done something like that. Really worth checking out, even if it is the expanded edition. Right, on to another one from Tomorrow's, which I've thoroughly... I love picking this one up. This one is probably one of my favourite books, The Quality Companion. I've got a fair number of quality books, not as many as I would love, because they are quite expensive to pick up. But they've got Plastic Man, Phantom Lady, etc., Uncle Sam, and Doll Man. And you can see it's also got some absolutely brilliant examples of those comics. You've got here Midnight. Just really, really good book, this one. Madame Fatal. Can't beat a character called Madame Fatal, can you? But it's also got things, obviously, here, the copyright details here. Sort of every bit of detail you could ever imagine. Modern comics, of course, they did love titles called sort of that sort of thing. You've got Doll Man. And also it's got a lot about the later ones as well, because, of course, they continued on. You obviously have the various Firebrand, the Ghost of Flanders. You've got various characters, just everything about quality comics. And, of course, what happened to them later. Also, of course, forgetting Black Hawk, of course. Black Hawk being famous. You can see on the back there, I've got a few of those ones. Feature comics. I've got feature comics, military comics, police comics, hit comics. I've got one of those. Crack comics, national comics. You can see a theme there for the titles. This book is just great. Again, Tomorrow's, if they haven't got it, it's obviously going to be available on there as a digital download if you're interested in that. Alter Ego, of course, just brilliant. And I've been reading this one as well, another one of the Tomorrow's, which is the Marvel Comics 1960s one. Now, this one maybe is the non-expanded version. And this one, of course, covers all the 1960s, the Silver Age period that I just loved. Obviously, there, the classic Fantastic Four with Galactus and the Watcher and Silver Surfer, etc. And, of course, there's old Thor and a few other things. Oh, the High Evolutionary, of course, as well. And on the back, got some lovely pictures of various artists, Bill Everett, Don Heck, etc. This one is a favourite book that I just always pick up, but it's of its time, of course. This one is the New Fun Comics. Very, very unusual read, because it always reminds me in many ways of British comics. You've got this style, the Ivanhoe by Sir Walter Scott. It's got a great introduction as well. Also, you've got here Loco Luke, Don Drake of the Planet Tsar, and those sort of stories. Obviously, Buck Rogers kind of thing, isn't it? So you've got here on the radio, on the movies, all those sorts of things. Just captures the period, just the sharpest blade. Things like that, advertised in these things. A 16-tube all-wave radio, 30 days free trial, no less. World's greatest radio value, $57.50. Is that what you have to pay? Woo, that's a lot of money, isn't it? That is a lot of money. Captain Eric, Buckskin Jim, the Trailblazer. Perhaps we didn't get all these ones. Some of the Westerns, I'm certain, probably didn't turn up in that sort of way. But this is just a lovely, lovely hardback book. Wish they would do more. Wish there's a few books that I think would be just brilliant for this treatment. Obviously, classic being The the Action Comics #1. Why haven't they done that? Action Comics 1, Detective Comics, of course, would be another one. Issue 1 as well would be quite good in this sort of format. Would be nice. This is reprinted for the first time. Absolutely brilliant. 85th Anniversary Collector's Edition. I wonder when they get up to the 100th anniversary, will DC produce a few more of these sort of collector volumes? New Comics #1, of course, which has been as a facsimile elsewhere. And finally, a series of comics, books, I should say, that are about comics, the history of comics, though technically US comics. There's no mention of British comics, Japanese comics, etc. It's all about pulps. It's got the newspaper strips, all those kind of things. Reading this, I must admit, I didn't realise. I always, for some weird reason, thought it was going to be a 4-volume set, but apparently it was intended to be a 6-volume set, going all the way up to the 60s and 70s. But this, of course, is the early days of comics, and it's full of some, obviously, the pulps there. You've got the shadow there, of course, the bloody pulps, it says, and of course got lots of examples of science fiction ones. And for me, when I first got these, and this was back in the 70s, this came out in 1970, 72, this was just information I just did not know. There were a few sort of history of comic books you could find in my local library, had a few of those sort of books, but not many. You had like the Penguin book of comics or history, whatever it was. That was just brilliant, that one as well. I've got that somewhere. That's always a good read. But you got here the detective comics. All these comics were very unfamiliar to me. I mean, maybe if being in the US, you probably maybe be more familiar with it. But for me, no, these just didn't turn up. Not that often in comic shops or the limited comic shops we had or comic marts. Now, I mean, they probably were there. Probably I wouldn't have actually even looked at them. I would have probably looked at the tables and thought, what, 50, 40, 30 pounds for a comic? There's no way would I spend that on an Action Comics #1. But that's the sort of prices that probably were on for those sort of comics. I mean, I did buy, of course, a Green Lantern one, an all-American comics, for about £10. And that was a lot of money for me at that time. So you've got here the Adventure Comics, and you've got Boy Commandos, and then into this one, which even probably more obscure than the ones that I just mentioned. That's why that Quality Comics. This is going through, obviously, Fawcett Comics. You had all these ones. I just did not see the cut them off. Now, I know that we had the L. Miller comics in the 50s. We had lots of the sort of various Captain Marvel, that sort of thing as well. Wow Comics, Mary Marvel would have turned up in those. But I really was not very familiar with this thing. And to me, just seeing the covers, because we didn't have the internet then, so it was, where would you see these sort of things other than fanzines? And I didn't buy that many fanzines. There were lots of fanzines that obviously from the States and things that I would never have seen. So you had obviously UK ones and things that probably wouldn't have had that much of this sort of material. Not as many pictures as this. So this sort of book was just for me. The Master Comics, obviously Black Hawk again. So you've got Black Hawk there, Military Comics, and you've got the Sky Blazers and many, many others. Now, it doesn't cover everything. This has got Police Comics, but there were so many other publishers, of course, that were at this time, the 1940s, 1950s, Uncle Sam, National Comics, etc. But this book, Volume 1 and Volume 2, I always live in hope that someone, maybe they'll do a 6-volume set. If all the material is available, that would be just brilliant. If they ever release it, I would definitely be buying the hardback volume of that set if they ever do that. Who knows? I live in hope that it's going to happen. Also, what I've been doing, this is just a rough, but I've just been doing some of my own artwork and things. I love doing artwork, and this is a bit of AI stuff that I'm using Adobe Firefly. But I'm just creating a sort of photo book sort of thing. I was just watching a YouTube video and was discussing it, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to create a sort of photo book. Obviously, this is not a photo book at this stage, but the idea, I was thinking, I must sort of combine sort of some of my images. I've got loads of things that I've created all the time. I thought it'd be nice to actually put them into a more sort of permanent form. So that's a current project that I'm working on, and I'll probably show a few of those on my other channel, as well as occasionally maybe on here. I'd like to do some comic ones. I still keep promising myself that I will do some comic books. I've only been doing that for about 40 years, promising myself on that one. However, that has been what I've been reading this week, and I've thoroughly enjoyed reading lots of these. I'm looking forward to a few books to read next week. I've got already on my start pile upstairs that I will be going through. And of course, lots of films. I've been watching The Return. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I did enjoy Observe Report, which was absolutely hilariously, not particularly for everyone, but it was a great little comedy. I did watch another one that's, Scream for Help, Michael Winner film, which I didn't intend to watch, which I did actually quite enjoy. It was quite a violent film, but it was good. It was very good. And also a few other films as well. I've got Vegas Vacation for tonight. Not saying that's going to be good. I don't know. I did enjoy those wonderful vacation films, and that one I've never seen. So I'm looking forward to sit down and watch that. So other than that, I haven't really read any comics other than obviously on Marvel Unlimited. And as mentioned, things like the Immortal Thor is one that comes to mind that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Marvel Unlimited is really good. I really love this. It's a great set. It's got about 27,000 odd comics, lots and lots of comics. However, when you go here, you go to Marvel thing, it's got news, comics, characters. Quite easy to click the wrong section. But what you need to do, just go to the comics, and then in comics, you will see release calendar. Don't click the Marvel Unlimited. I always click Marvel Unlimited because that's what I'm part of, but it just goes to the sign-up form. Very confusing. However, release calendar, go to that, and then you get all the comics. And apparently this week we've got things like The Amazing Spider-Man. It starts here, brand new day. I wonder why that's there. It's a facsimile edition. Of course, that's coming out fairly soon, isn't it? Yes. Also got Alien as well, Avengers Armageddon. Now, I haven't read any of these. Of course, they're all the current ones, and you can't read those. Not for the next 4 to 6 months, whatever it is. Also, it's got another Mortal Thor, issue 11. I look forward to all that. Looks like, I don't know who that is. The Man-Bull, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, they've got the Sentry, you've got various other ones. However, for Marvel Unlimited, I just click Marvel Unlimited now, and you can see, of course, when I go to that, as usual, it's updated, and we've got a whole load of new comics. Now, unfortunately, because the way the system works, if I click on, say, the Avengers, this digital issue is not currently available. I've always slightly find that frustrating. Wish they would have a sort of display saying not available on the actual thing. Otherwise, you click it and go into it, and then, of course, you can't go any further. But it looks like some interesting ones. You've got the Avengers one, you've got Daredevil, Punisher, Iceman. I'm certain I will read all of them. I'm certain. I don't know what that one is. Shadow and Maul. Maybe not. I'm not really a Star Wars mega fan for those. But if, of course, want to show the previous week's one, let's just go back and put the first in there and submit. And what will it show? Will it show me the ones I've missed completely? Oh, that one looks good. The Rivals, I don't know that one, I haven't read that one. But Spider-Man and Venom, Death Spiral, it was okay. Not brilliant, but Black Panther Intergalactic, that was interesting, issue 3. Hulk Smash Everything. Now, I've been thoroughly enjoying the Infernal Hulk and the Hulk Smash Everything. In fact, the Hulk Smash Everything was very good. Inglorious X-Force. No, I haven't read that one. Oh, Iron Man. Yes, Iron Man issue 2. This is the thing with the comics nowadays. I always like look at it and go, I wish they'd actually just go with different titles. Why not call it the Infernal Iron Man or the Impossible Iron Man? Because you just end up with another title, issue 2. Becomes like volume 63 of the things. It's very confusing. This one is great. Mortal Thor, issue 7. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Worth reading if you're a fan of who I am. Dr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde, even. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Get it right. That one, excellent. Just a great premise for a story. And I don't think I've actually ever, and maybe I'm wrong here, I've ever seen a comic that features bit like French Connection. It's basically French Connection. You've got a car whizzing through the streets and everyone sort of being moved out of the way and Thor's hanging on, and you've got Hyde, of course, completely out of control, completely on a destructive thing. The previous issue was the Cobra, or Cobra. And I love that as well. I know it's not everyone's favourite, but I enjoyed it. These ones have been good. Predator. I have been enjoying those. Psylocke even. Ninja. Not such a fan of. Punisher, not a fan of particularly. Rogue, I did enjoy that. That's issue 2. It was okay. Sorcerer Supreme. It's okay, reasonable. Now, I've been enjoying this series, Spider-Man and Wolverine. That's been quite fun, like that. This one was odd. The End, 2099. Very strange. You've got Galactus, sort of like near enough like, I don't know, laughing or smiling with evil smile on the cover. Very odd, but it was good little story. The Ultimates, 21. Also Wiccan. I didn't read that one actually. And we've also got a lot of these ones, which I'm never particularly keen on. The Infinity Comics. Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm not screen previewing any of these anyway. So just so if you want to go and see them, you'll have to go on to Marvel Unlimited. I've thoroughly enjoyed quite a few of those. And like I say, you've got a few of these other ones, which are Infinity Comics. They always put Infinity Comics on. I don't generally click on them. I should do, maybe. I don't know, maybe they're very good. But I don't generally click on them. But we've got, like I say, the other ones coming up. Spider-Gwen. That's one of them. Moonstar. And those sort of things. And Iceman as well. That could be good. Looking forward to those. So that is a run through of the comics that I've been looking at this week as well. I haven't joined as yet the DC Universe. DC Universe? Is that what it's called? It is something like that. I'm intending to join that. I will still keep the Marvel one. I haven't got many subscriptions. I'm not a fan of subscriptions. So DC Universe is one that I definitely probably will enjoy. I've looked on their database, their list of all the various things, and it's a good list. So there's loads of comics that I think I would enjoy on that as well. So that is some summary of this week's reading, looking at generally, and also reading comics as well. So please put in the comments below. What have you been reading? What do you recommend from all those sort of books? Have you got any favourites you've read recently? You think, Andrew, please check out this book, and I will obviously try and give it a go. I'm not saying I will get every single book, but I'm always interested in things like that book that I saw. I only saw a YouTube video about it, about that TV Time book, and I thought, yes, that is a must buy. I'm the worst for doing that. Looking on there and thinking, you know what, I think I will get that. So, hope you found this of interest.